Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 95. In this episode, we are going to talk about episode 94, where I talked to Katie Tschida. Katie and I talked about her experience in the military, what led her to become a sergeant in the military, and also how she pivoted to become a virtual assistant. So if you didn't listen to episode 94, definitely go back and check it out. I know you'll love it. But in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing 3 reasons why Katie Tschida is so badass. I know you're going to love it, so stay tuned for that. And then I also just wanted to talk about the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. I would love for you to join the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group today so we can continue the conversations. You know, when there's a really good guest and there's more that we want to talk about after the episode, it's cool to head on over to the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group so we can continue the conversation there. Also, have you left a review on iTunes yet? I'm so grateful to anyone who heads over to iTunes and leaves a rating and review. It means the world to me. That means other badasses just like you can find the episode. And then if you do, please just screenshot it and then put it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Ordinary to Badass. I definitely want to say thank you for taking the time to leave a rating and a review. It means the world to me. And if that's just not you, you don't feel like leaving a review, I would love it if you just sent it to a friend who you think would love the podcast just as much as you do. All right, with that, let's get to the episode. Okay, so did you listen to the episode with Katie Tschida? There were 3 things that I thought were so badass that Katie said. 1, Katie didn't like the leadership, so she changed it and became a leader herself. The second thing she did was she said, don't let others tell you what you can't do. And finally, the third thing is she said, keep a journal of 3 good things that happened and 3 things that you can improve upon. Now, let's dig into it a little bit deeper. So, in the episode, Katie talked about how she didn't want to be a sergeant. She did not necessarily want to be a leader. But there just kept being all these things that happened around her, and there was leadership that she didn't like. And there was one leader in particular who was pretty hard on her and she didn't get along with. So she was lucky enough to have another sergeant that would stick up for her. But when it was mentioned to her, like, hey, you should become a sergeant. And she was like, nah. But then when she thought about it, if there wasn't the leadership around her that she wanted to see, then she figured she could make a change. And sometimes that's what it takes, is if nobody is going to step up to the challenge, or if people who are not qualified are going to step up for the challenge, then sometimes it's your right, it's your responsibility to step up and to make the change. I think we often think that we have to be qualified or have like the perfect qualifications, be the perfect leader, have no reservations. But that's just not true. Nobody has it all figured out. So before you dismiss yourself as being a leader, listen to what other people around you are saying too, right? If people are suggesting that you get into a leadership role, maybe that's saying something. Now, if it doesn't work for like your personal life, your family life, and the leadership role would just put more stress on you and you wouldn't have time for your kids, your spouse, whatever. Cool. I get that. But if you don't want to be a leader merely because you have imposter syndrome, like you think that you're not good enough and you just doubt your abilities, it's like, then that's the time where you need some, well, I'm not going to say you need, but then that means you could do work, right? You could work on it because it's just a mindset thing. It's not that you don't have the physical abilities or the mental capabilities to do it. It's just likely you getting in your own head, which we all do. But start paying attention. Start paying attention to what others are telling you, and then also start paying attention to the leadership around you. Could you be a better leader than somebody else? And it's not like you need to tell them that or tell other people like, oh, I could be a better leader. But it's like, maybe that means it's time for you to step into a leadership role, even if it's not something that you ever saw yourself doing. So that was the first thing. If you don't like the leadership around you, change it and become a leader. And the second thing was, Katie talked about not letting others tell you what you can and you can't do. And specifically what I wrote down after she said that was, listen to your cheerleaders and not your haters. Like, if you have people who are cheering you along and want you to do great things, listen to them. But there's also typically negative Nellies, right? Who are gonna always be negative, always be down, or there's people that are haters that are just gonna talk smack about you because you are not gonna get along with everybody. That's just human nature. Nobody gets along with everybody. So, but don't listen to those people. Don't listen to the negative people. Don't listen to the haters. That's on them, not on you, right? What they say, that's about them. But when you're really considering like life choices and life changes, then don't give credit to people who shouldn't have a voice into your life. So don't give credit to those negative people or those haters. Otherwise, talking about it and stuff gives it more room to breathe and more room to possibly be true. And another thing that I had written down was listen to your gut over what other people say. And I think that's so powerful. Because too often we have this image of the perfect person that we're supposed to be. Like the perfect girl, the perfect woman, the perfect man, whatever. We have this image of how we're supposed to be and how people want to see us. But it's not even really accurate. And even if it was, are you willing to throw away your whole life over other people's opinions of you or over other people's perception of what you should do and who you should be? So I think it's important that we just kind of reflect on why we're making the decisions that we're making and to make sure it's something that we truly want to do or truly don't want to do. Because then, you could be missing a ton of opportunity. So much possibility out there that you're missing simply because, you're not listening to your intuition and instead you're listening to the people around you. So, where in your life are you listening to others as opposed to listening to your intuition or your gut? Is there a boundary you can set? Is there something you could do? Because often we just get in habits and we default and if you've let other people make decisions in your life before, you're likely to just default into that habit again. But maybe you come up with something that you can say to yourself, right? Like, people are going to ask you to do stuff or people are going to suggest stuff. So maybe you just set a boundary and figure out what you can say in response so that you stick to what you want to do, not what somebody else is telling you to do. And the third and final thing was how Katie talked about keeping a journal, and then she wrote down 3 good things that happened that day and then 3 things that needed improvement. And we often don't take time to just reflect. And I am a big reflector, and that sounds funny, but I like to reflect. I like to journal. I like to do things, but I still probably don't do it as much as I could or as much as I should. Um, but my caution would be, if you're writing down 3 good things that happened and 3 things to improve on, don't be too hard on yourself. When you're looking at those things that need to be improved on, just use that as data, as information. The good things or the things that you need to improve or work on, those aren't things to critique yourself or get down on yourself or get in your head about. Those are it's just data, just information that you can use to evaluate. And the big thing with the improved upon stuff, it's like, okay, then you take that for next time. The next time you're trying to accomplish your goal or do that thing that you thought that you could have improved upon, you can look at your journal and think, okay, what did I learn from that? What can I do this time that's going to improve my situation or improve the result? And then you go from there. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. None of us are perfect, but it's just about doing the work. It's doing stuff every day to improve yourself. Even if it's teeny tiny things. Like if you're a mom and you have a bunch of stuff going on, cool. But is there 3 things you can do for a minute each or 5 minutes each? Just to work on something that brings you joy, that brings you light. And I just think that working on new things or constantly striving for new things, just in life in general, to be happy and to not just settle and be, content with whatever you have. Well, that sounds bad. Of course, I want you to be content with what you have. But I think that there's something to be said about self-improvement, about trying to be a better version of you and kind of reflecting on the 3 good things and 3 things that can be improved on. That is a way to make sure that you're continuing to grow and learn. But don't be perfect. Just get out there, do it. Don't let something small stop you. Don't let fear of failure stop you. I feel like I'm going down a tangent now. But the big thing is, get those 3 things, 3 good things, 3 bad things every night before you go to bed. And that kind of reminds me. I recently did an Instagram post, and it was put 3 things that you want to get done every day and put it on a Post-it in your mirror or somewhere that you're going to routinely see it. But if you have a bathroom mirror, throw it on there as a reminder that you want to get those things done. And then as long as you do those 3 things, you're good. And then you feel like a success, right? Even if you got 3 teeny tiny tasks done, it helps you to feel accomplished. And then if you're really feeling like a badass, feeling strong, and want a challenge, then do those 3 things that you put on your little Post-it note before you do anything else in the day. Like, don't check your email, don't check your text messages or your social media. I know it's hard. It seems to be a habit. But instead of doing that, you just try to accomplish those 3 things, and that's going to motivate you to get those 3 things done, right? So I don't care whether you write 3 things on a Post-it note. Apparently I can't say Post-it, but whether you write those 3 things on a Post-it note or you do what Katie suggested, keep a journal of 3 good things that happened and 3 things that you can improve upon. All right. Now to wrap it up, quick recap. 3 things that were super badass that Katie talked about. 1, if you don't like the leadership around you, change it and become a leader. 2, don't let others tell you that you can't do something. And 3, Katie talked about keeping a journal of 3 good things that happened today and 3 things that you can improve upon. All right. Make sure you're jumping into the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group so we can continue this conversation. But more importantly, if you liked any part of this episode or what Katie said in the last episode, I think we should show her some love. As I've said before, it takes guts to pour out your heart and to be completely vulnerable to people that you don't know. So I truly appreciate it when we have guests on the show. And I would love for you to take a screenshot of the episode and then put it in your stories and tag me at Ordinary to Badass, and I'll make sure it gets to Katie as well. I don't know her Instagram handle, but let's let her know what an impact she had. Let's let her know, the badass things that she taught us. If there's some takeaway, something you learned, definitely make sure you're posting Instagram stories, a screenshot of the episode, and then what your takeaway was, and then at Ordinary to Badass. I just think it's important that we show our guests some love and let them know that we're proud of them for having the courage to stand up and tell their story. And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.